Hi, I'm Dr. George Cromack, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit more about fasting. I'm on day 30 of my juice fast / juice feast, and we'll get into a discussion more on that as we go along with these talks on fasting. Let's start off by saying there's a couple of situations where you shouldn't fast, and that is if you have a wasting type disease like a cancer, or you're severely underweight. You need to really talk that out with your doctor and healthcare specialist. In general, you do need to check with your doctor before you fast. There are other contraindications. And so I'm not medically clearing you to fast. We're just going to have a discussion of the topics, and you do need to check with your doctor. Juice feasting, a term popularized by Angela Stokes and David Reinachek. I started doing juice feasting actually about 1979, and my juice feasting was with spirulina. In juice feasting, you're on a liquid diet juices, but you are taking some, you can take some like blue-green algae or spirulina, a little pure synergy, even a tablespoon of pollen a day. And in general, for most people, all different types of fasts all have their time and place, but I'm in favor for most people, and most of the time, the fasting I do is this juice feasting, where I do probably a third to a half a bottle of liquid E3 Live a day. And I normally do 2 bottles a week anyway, so does Dr. Gabriel Cousins, but anyway, the advantages of this are that, if you're fairly detoxified, and you're not underweight, that's the other thing. If you're really underweight and you have this Vata body type, which we'll talk more about at another time, but very thin and basically underweight, you shouldn't do long fasting. It's not good for your body type, and it's not good to lose too much weight if you have a really hard time gaining it back. So we'll talk about this another time. Right now I'd like to focus on why, for some of you that are experienced with fasting or would like to experiment, why I think fasting with E3 Live is an amazing experience. Really, with fasting, by the 4th day, 90% of your appetite is gone. With the E3 Live, because it has a soft cell wall, it has a 90% assimilation rate, so there's the concept behind fasting is that you're liberating a lot of the energy that has to go into digestion and elimination of the byproducts of that. It takes a lot of physical energy, and when you fast, you save that energy so that your body can use that energy to go into healing and house cleaning. With the E3 Live, it doesn't really interfere with the cleansing of a normal juice fast because of the soft cell wall. It has a 90% assimilation rate. So what that does is it doesn't really put any digestive burden or taxing on your system for the digestive part. But as you are purifying, I think for a lot of people it actually assists the detox. For one, it has 4 times the chlorophyll of wheatgrass juice, and that chlorophyll is very alkaline, and what that does is it helps your body to buffer the byproducts of the acids that are coming out through the organs of elimination when you detox. And that alkalinity helps to buffer it. Also helps with the actual cleansing and detoxification, and it helps to keep your blood sugar level even. And because it has 22 to 24 amino acids with that 90% assimilation rate in your bloodstream in 20 minutes, you can either fast with water and liquid E3 Live. I personally do well a little bit more sugar, and can do moderate amounts of fruit juice. and coconut water with E3 Live. For others, you know, they may want to do vegetable juice or keep it a little bit lower glycemic. But the E3 Live, I think, once you are detoxified, and if you're not too underweight, you actually can have more energy physically and more endurance, and you can work while you're doing it. So this is a big advantage for most of us. And what I recommend is, if you're on live foods, introducing yourself to the E3 Live, starting on a couple tablespoons first thing in the morning, and then every week increasing that up to about 4 tablespoons. And then after about several weeks of doing 4 tablespoons first thing in the morning, doing a second dose of another couple tablespoons or a tablespoon of the powder mid-afternoon. And that will get you cleansing, and if you do that for a few months, then you may be ready for a short, you know, like 3-day to 5-day juice fast / juice feast with the E3 Live. And during that, you would take 3 to 4 tablespoons 3 times a day with your juices, and maybe a lot of warm teas. I think with the E3 Live you get a wonderful expansion of consciousness while you're fasting. Once you're cleansed, you really can get into some altered states of very enhanced clarity and heightened awareness, and definitely more energy and enthusiasm for work. I've been able to lift weights fairly hard a couple times a week during this fast, and haven't really lost much strength. That's the other beautiful thing with the E3 Live. You're kind of, as you're cleansing and breaking down old tissue, you're kind of feeding it with pre-digested amino acids, and basically I think you get very little wasting of muscle mass. You have a lot of energy, and you can actually work out and train somewhat while you're actually juice fasting. So a lot of advantages to that. I would consider, if you're doing a longer one, which I don't recommend for most people, and definitely not without some guidance, you know, you can add pure Synergy, a tablespoon once a day, which rounds out a little bit more minerals to it, and that's about it. So I think that's enough for today. We'll talk about, you know, there's just lots of different angles and aspects to fasting, and the different types of fasting, and when you're doing a longer fast. And we'll get into that more. I feel really, absolutely much better than I did 30 days ago starting the fast. I believe I've lost about 15 pounds, maybe 16, and my weight's kind of semi-stabilized. Not losing very fast at this point. That's about it. Let's keep it short and sweet. Aloha, that's Dr. George Cromack. Aloha from Patagonia.